Welcome to Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. We have another action-packed show for you guys today, and we'll start in the NFL. Well, week 4 was one of the weirder weeks we've seen in quite some time, but with weirdness comes movement as we take a look at our NFL Power Rankings for week 5. Someone other than the Miami Dolphins checks in at number 32, and that's the New York Jets, who are coming off of a bye. Gang Green may still be without the services of quarterback Sam Darnell for another week as he deals with mono. The good news is that he was clear to throw this week, but not clear for contact. I think that pushes his timetable to be back on the field another week. Talks about a season being off to an inauspicious start. The New York Jets need a victory in the worst way possible. Now, the Miami Dolphins move up one spot this week to number 31, and what I like about the Dolphins is that the players and coaches haven't quit in any game so far this season. They've been very competitive early on in contests before seeing it slowly slip away at the end. Once they learn how to finish, I think their fortunes will begin to change for the better. Looking at teams 26 through 30, the Bengals struggle to get anything going offensively for the third consecutive game. Now it's a combination of offensive line play and a lack of explosive plays overall. The Broncos have to be feeling like they're in a twilight zone after losing 2 home games the same exact way, where it looked as if they drove down the field in the waning minutes to score what looked to be the game-winning touchdown. And on top of that, they lose edge rusher Bradley Chubb for the season with the torn ACL. Now, the Washington Redskins are in a bit of a dilemma right now. You have perceived issues between the coaching staff and the front office, and an issue with one of its best players and the training staff. And last week against the New York Giants, the head coach set his quarterback up for failure, his rookie first-round pick quarterback, by tossing him in that ball game in the middle of the second quarter. Now, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made in order for this franchise to start to move in the right direction. Moving on to teams 21 through 25, and the Pittsburgh Steelers got off the mat last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Their offense is still a work in progress, but you have to be excited about what you saw from the pass rush last game against the Bengals. The Oakland Raiders and Minnesota Vikings have the same quarterbacking situation to where you don't know which version of their quarterback you're going to get that particular game. This past week, the Raiders got the good version of Derek Carr, while the Vikings got the bad version of Kirk Cousins. And the Buffalo Bills head into week 5 with Matt Barkley as their starting quarterback, as Josh Allen is in a concussion protocol after a nasty hit he took against the New England Patriots. Now, the New York Giants are one of many teams that welcome back a player from suspension. For the G-men, that guy is also at a position of need, and that's Golden Tate. Getting him back just in time against a very good Vikings defense could be just what the doctor ordered for the Giants' passing game and their continued development of their rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones. Moving right along here, and the Houston Texans have to find a way to get better up front and offensively for that matter. I know it's a broken record, but they just have to get better. The majority of the AFC South is also found here, as 16, 17, and 18 feature teams from that division. You can even toss the Los Angeles Chargers in there if you want to, as they're the AFC West version, in my opinion, of the Houston Texans. Those 2 teams play the exact same game every week. Now, the Carolina Panthers have won 2 straight games since quarterback Kyle Allen stepped in for injured franchise QB Cam Newton. He didn't look particularly well last week against Arizona, but well enough to help them get the win. Now, a lot of the credit should go to Christian McCaffrey, who's been playing out of his mind the last 2 weeks for the Panthers. Looking at teams 11 through 15, and you start to see a couple of squads on here that are ready to make some noise and charge up the power rankings. Both the Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions are coming off tough losses to the Eagles and Chiefs respectively, and after the Lions loss, I came away more impressed with them for the long haul. They're a very good football team and will be a problem moving forward. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are fresh off of a blowout victory against the Los Angeles Rams, and it was a great day all around for the Bucs offense and America's quarterback Jameis Winston and that Bucs defense that harassed Jared Goff all game long. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the new cardiac cats in my opinion after what they pulled off in Denver last weekend, thanks in part to a 200-yard effort on the ground by Leonard Fournette. The Jags were able to claw their way back into the waning moments of that ball game to get the win against Denver. And the Cleveland Browns ran all over the Baltimore Ravens defense last week, watching Nick Chubb go for 160 plus last game and imagining what their running game will look like when they get Kareem Hunt back into the fold. It should be very exciting down the stretch for the Browns the rest of the way. As we move into the top 10, the Seattle Seahawks have rather quietly gotten off to a strong 3-1 start to the season. It's been the offensive balance that has paved the way for Seattle. The Chicago Bears will see what life is like with Chase Daniel at quarterback for an extended period of time, as their starting quarterback Mitch Trubisky is out for a good period after suffering a shoulder injury against the Minnesota Vikings. And the Ravens hope to get better defensively, and it's not been pretty the last couple of weeks for the boys in Baltimore. Their run defense has struggled mightily, and the 49ers are coming off of a bye week and head into a big matchup against the Cleveland Browns on Monday night. I love the way the Eagles got both of their running backs involved in a running game last week against the Packers. Both Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders enjoyed a lot of success against Green Bay, and I came away with the impression that the rookie should be more involved in the offense moving forward. He's got the goods, in my opinion. And finally, looking at our top 5, a few tweaks here as the Chiefs move up to number 2, right behind the New England Patriots, who remain steady at number 1, and the Cowboys drop from the 2nd spot to number 4, pushing the Los Angeles Rams to number 5. Now, the New Orleans Saints, who lost to the Rams but bested the Cowboys, check in at number 3. What's been most impressive about the Saints over the last 2 weeks has been the play of their defense. Quietly, the Saints have shut down both the Seahawks and Cowboys on offense, notching 2 big wins in the NFC, which are going to be huge come playoff time. We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with more Football Game Plan Power Rankings here on the Game Plus Network.
Well, the game of football has taught me so many things, man. Now, think about the huddle we have right now, right? I tell people this all the time. There's a reason why they call it a huddle. People have been huddling all their lives, trying to find ways to enhance each other's lives. The great teams do that all the time. The great teams do that. The better the huddle, the better the team. And so it's simple, man, how if you huddle for all the right reasons, we wouldn't have Ferguson. We wouldn't have some of the challenges that we have in our society. But as we all know, there's always a moment when somebody doesn't belong in the huddle. And yet we have to continue to move on. We got to continue to play. So the game of life, man, is always starting with a huddle. And for me, I'm lucky enough to know that, by the graces of God, man, it's been a nice huddle. It's been a nice huddle. And if I just keep making sure that he's in front of me, I'm gonna be all right.
I'm Alex Marinoni, offering you Football Game Plan's best bets for Week 5. Let's start things off with the Ravens heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Now, historically, these two teams, no matter how the year turns out for them, play each other really tough and to really close games. However, these defenses are not the same Raven and Steeler defenses we are used to. Both of these defenses have been struggling all year. But for the Ravens, they have proved to be an explosive offense. The spread opens at -4 for Baltimore. With the Steelers' offensive struggle, I see the Ravens covering here. In our next game, we have the Falcons heading to Houston to take on the Texans. The Texans have been very up and down this season offensively. They play a team in Atlanta who put up a lot of yards offensively, but struggle to get in the end zone. The Texans' defense has been stout this whole year, so I expect that struggles to continue. The total points is set at 49. I would take the under in this game. In Game 3, we have the Bills heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Bills' defense has been electric this season and will go up against the Titans' offensive line that has struggled to protect Marcus Mariota. This game may also feature a backup quarterback for Buffalo due to the injury of Josh Allen. The total points is set at 38.5. Even with Josh Allen playing in the game, taking the under here is the best bet. If Josh Allen is out this week, definitely jump on this under. In our next game, we have the New York Jets heading to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The Eagles are coming off a big win in Green Bay and will host a New York Jets team that should be without quarterback Sam Darnell. The Jets, though, are coming off a bye week, so with the extra week of preparation and a defense that should be fully healthy, I expect the defense to play very well. The offense will continue to struggle, though, which leads me to the total opening points. Set at 44.5 right now, taking the under will be the best bet here. In our next game, we have the Green Bay Packers heading to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Both teams are coming off tough losses where we saw the Packers defense struggle to stop the run and the Cowboys offense struggle to get going. In the Packer game, we did see their offense step up, though. thanks mostly to the play of Devontae Adams. When he got injured, the offense sputtered. If he doesn't look to suit up in this one, and with the Cowboys defense playing as well as it has, I expect Dallas to keep Green Bay in check. Throw in the struggles against the run for the Packers, and I can see the Cowboys taking it. With the line set at -3.5, I see the Cowboys covering. In our final game, we have the Colts going to Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs. Kansas City is a tough place to play for a visiting team, but the Colts have been able to keep every one of their games to one score. With T.Y. Hilton and Darius Leonard expected back, I expect the Colts to keep this game close. With an opening line of 10.5 point spread for the Chiefs, I look for the Colts to cover that. This was Football Game Plan's Best Bets. I'm Alex Marinoni.
Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Welcome back to Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. Every year in college football, we see freshmen make more of an impact each and every season. Last year, it was quarterback Trevor Lawrence at Clemson who led his Tigers to the national title game, winning it against the Alabama Crimson Tide, who just a few years ago, 2 years ago to be exact, they were led by their true freshman quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. So far this season, there's already been a ton of freshmen of influence, as we like to call them, and we'll take a look at those that have made their presence felt in a big way. Ryan Hilinski out of South Carolina has played well so far for the Gamecocks. The brother of the late Tyler Hilinski, who started at Washington State, Ryan stepped in after Jake Bentley went down for the season against North Carolina and hasn't looked back since. It's been trial by fire for Hilinski, with games against Alabama, Missouri, and Kentucky, winning the last outing against the Wildcats with a gutsy performance. Davius Richard of North Carolina Central stepped into the starting role for the Eagles in the second game of the season against Towson, and I got my first opportunity to see him play this past weekend against Morgan State and came away highly impressed with his leadership, his poise, and overall playmaking ability. He's going to be a good one for Central throughout his career. Another freshman of influence a few miles down the road in Chapel Hill, as Sam Howell is off to a great start to his collegiate career for the Tar Heels of North Carolina. The 6'1", 225-pound Monroe, North Carolina native has completed 62% of his passes for 1,168 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and nearly pulled off the upset last week against the number 1 ranked Clemson Tigers. Now out west, there's another impressive true freshman signal caller in Jayden Daniels of Arizona State. He's a true dual threat player who has done damage on the ground with nearly 250 yards rushing and through the air with over 1,200 yards passing, 5 touchdowns to only 1 interception, and some big wins over Michigan State and Cal, both of whom were ranked in the top 25. And Bo Nix of Auburn has been, in my opinion, the best true freshman quarterback so far this season. He leads his 7th-ranked Tigers into a huge game this week against the Florida Gators, who are ranked 10th in the country. Now, Nix has gotten better each and every week since his spectacular debut against the Oregon Ducks, and in the process has turned Auburn into a national title contender.
Troy Anthony here with your Football Game Plan NFL Week 5 Best Bets. I'm taking New Orleans on the money line at home this week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have the Saints coming off a hard-fought win at home, and you have the Bucs coming off of a shocking win at the Rams. I think the Bucs come back down to earth in the Dome, and the Saints get the job done. In the next matchup, I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings on the money line at -225 at the Giants. The Giants have shown that they allow opponents to get to Daniel Jones, and that Minnesota front seven is one of the best in the league. Cousins has struggled to get the ball to his stars, Diggs and Thielen, but the Giants' secondary has looked very suspect so far. The Vikings pull out the victory. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the money line at +150 against the Carolina Panthers. You can also take them +3.5 at -110 if you're feeling a little sketchy. Kyle Allen played lights out 2 weeks ago, but we saw him struggle a bit this past weekend against Houston, with McCaffrey playing on another level. This Jags defense is pretty good as well though, maybe a little bit better than Houston, and I think Allen struggles again this week. Minshew looks like he's the truth for Jacksonville, and I have him pulling it out. In the next matchup, I have Arizona at +4.5, -110. I think that the Cardinals could pull it out on the money line at +175. Both of these defenses have gotten torn to pieces so far this season, but I like the Cardinals' offense a little bit more. They have superstars like David Johnson and future Hall of Famer Larry Fitz to rely on. I could see Murray getting his first win, but I'll be safe for now and just take the points. Dallas dropped a close one last week to the Saints, and I look for them to bounce back at home, so I'm taking Dallas on the money line at -190. This Packers offense has struggled so far this season, and they might be without Davante Adams. I can't see the Packers getting it done against this strong defense on the road. I like the Baltimore Ravens, -4, at -110, visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. In their second division game in a row, the Ravens look to bounce back against the Steelers in their shaky secondary. I see Lamar Jackson having a day in this one, and it could be a pretty lopsided win. This year's Patriots defense might be the best we've ever seen it. They visit the Washington Redskins, and I'm taking them with the spread, -14.5 at -110. They cause turnover after turnover, and they capitalize off of those turnovers. We don't know who will be the quarterback in Washington, but as a team, they're arguably bottom 3 in the league. I think the Patriots can more than cover this spread. With your football game plan, NFL Week 5 best bets, I'm Troy Anthony.
Football Game Plan is brought to you in part by Ninth and Lux. Visit the website ninethandlux.com and check out the clothing gallery. Do You Music with featured artist IW and his latest album, Season 2. You can check that out on iTunes as well as doyoumusic.com. Nesby Phipps, Art, Life, Entertainment. NesbyPhipps.com. Grind It Out Fitness. Visit the website grinditoutfitness.com and download the app. Financial Coaching LLC, investment, retirement, security. Stewardship Credit, financial growth is in your hands. Stewardshipcredit.com. Adrienne Marie Photo, photographer, writer, management. AdrienneMariePhotography.com. Lock Multimedia.
Man, it's that old thing, perseverance, consistency, hard work. My goal is to put the same work into, my businesses, my family that I put into football, and I've been running with that mantra since I got married back in '97, that if I'm going to have a successful marriage, I got to, the same hard work and same consistency and discipline I had on the football field, I got to put in my marriage and with my kids and with my businesses and all that. So it teaches you a lot, man. How to deal with your fellow man and not look at his color, but look at what he can do for the overall good of what you're trying to accomplish. So sports to me in general is just an incredible deal when you talk about football specifically because of the closeness of guys. I just believe it's an amazing sport.
Now that we are a quarter of the way done in the NFL, let's rank and file our MVP, Rookie of the Year, Offense and Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL, and other awards of significance in the National Football League. It's still a young season, and there's a lot of football that's still yet to be played, but right now, I will have to give the Offensive Rookie of the Year award to Ravens wideout Marquise Brown. Usually, you don't see rookie receivers making huge impacts out there on the field, but that's not the case for Brown, who stepped in Week 1 and became the Ravens' big play threat in the passing game. And what makes his play so far amazing is that he missed virtually all of training camp with a foot injury, barely developing any timing with franchise quarterback Lamar Jackson. So to be able to hit the ground running like he has so far this season is definitely worthy of praise. Defensively, safety Darnell Savage gets my vote for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I just love the way he plays and how versatile he is as a defender. And the Packers have been much better defensively this season, and the former Maryland Terrapin has made a bunch of big plays so far this year, justifying his first-round selection this past April. The Buccaneers' Shaq Barrett would get my vote for Defensive MVP. He has 9.5 sacks on the season and has a knack for making a game-changing play during a football game. A great example of that would be the play he made last week, forcing the fumble on Los Angeles Rams quarterback Jared Goff, as Ndamukong Suh was able to scoop and score for the final nail in the coffin for the Rams out there in Los Angeles. Barrett has been a significant piece to the Bucs' defensive puzzle so far this season. Now, offensively, I'm going with Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Quietly, he's played the quarterback position extremely well this season, and he's on pace to shatter personal best across the board. Now, he's played the same game, honestly, throughout his career, but this season, what makes it look all different is that he has tremendous weapons across the board, an innovative offensive coordinator that's allowing him to push the ball more vertically downfield, and the results have been tremendous. I think he's going to take the Cowboys very far this year. And for the league MVP, I have to go back to Patrick Mahomes, who is playing some ridiculous football once again. He's on pace to throw for over 6,000 yards, 50 touchdowns this season once again, and he's the epitome of a video game type passer. It's been great to see him continue to find ways to not only get better, but help his Kansas City Chiefs win each and every week. So that's it for this week's episode of Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. Also subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Head over to iTunes and subscribe to Football Game Plan Podcast, where you can find our NFL All 32 podcasts as well as our other top quality audio content. And be sure to leave us a 5-star rating. Finally, keep it locked here on the Game Plus Network, as Thursday you can catch our NFL All 32 show and Friday our College Football Tailgate show, both of which are at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Check with your cable provider for channel listings.